Hi, how's your dog doing? Okay, let's use our characters again. Linus and Marcus Aurelius. Linus wants to learn a language. He thinks it would be really cool, and he thinks it would be a great addition to his life. So, what he does is he goes onto Duolingo, and he practices a couple words for 5 minutes each day. After a week of practicing, Linus says that it'll take way too long to learn a language, so he might as well just give up now and stop wasting his time. Marcus Aurelius understands that it will take a long time to learn a language, and that's okay. He wants to do this for the rest of his life. So, it's okay if it takes only a few years to learn a language to benefit him for the rest of his life. I mean, how else would he have written meditations in ancient Greek when he spoke Latin natively? Okay, so I remember I kind of mentioned this story in the last video, but I think it's still a good one to demonstrate what I'm talking about. When I was younger and I really wanted to learn a language, maybe it was French or Latin, maybe Italian, I thought it'd be cool to learn another language. Probably something I could brag about to all of my friends. So I'd try it out. I'd, find some YouTube videos on it or download some random app to try and learn. So then I'd try it out. I'd work on it for, maybe a week, 2 weeks. And then after a while, I'd just say it's too hard. It's going to take way too long to learn. Why should I even do this? I should just stop. And so I did. I gave up. And for years, I did not learn another language. Until I want to say around 2021. That's when I finally started learning other languages. Like my two favorite ones, Latin and Toki-Pona. Now I've realized it's okay if it takes a little while to learn a language. It's absolutely worth it. So the first point I want to touch on is one I did mention in the last video, and it's kind of a repeat, but what I've noticed is that people need repetition to get information, and as the wonderful Adam Neely says, repetition legitimizes. So hopefully this legitimizes what I'm saying. So anyway, the time will pass by anyway. It doesn't matter if it takes you 2 years to learn Korean. Either you learn it in those 2 years, or you don't, and then you start learning it later, and you have nothing to show for it after those first 2 years. So why not just start learning it now? The only reason why maybe thinking that it's a waste of time is if somehow you knew you were going to die at that point, which, technically you can die, but that's very unlikely to happen. You know what I mean? So you might as well take those 2 years. Unless you really have limited time and you can't learn a language in those 2 years. It's a little morbid to talk about, but that's the only legitimate reason why I think you could say it'll take too long to learn a language if you don't have that much time left. Otherwise, you will have the time to learn it. It's just going to take a couple of years. So depending on the language, it might even take a couple of months, maybe 6 months, 8 months, depending how focused you are. Take a year, 2 years, 3 years, depending on the language, you never know. But it's a great investment. The time's going to pass by anyway, and you're going to get a really good skill that you can use for the rest of your life as long as you keep on practicing. Okay, so let's actually come up with the pros and cons here. The only con is that you have to spend out maybe an hour or two of your day, and it's going to take a couple of years to get good. Other than that, if you keep on practicing, you will have another language. You could possibly talk to thousands, millions of other people around the world, of new people that you can gain new access to their knowledge, to their stories, to their friendship, for 2 years, for the rest of your life. Let's say you're 20 years old and you're going to live to your 70, 75. You take 2 years out, you still get 53 more years where you can talk to new people and learn new things and experience other cultures. I think that is absolutely worth it. Something that people forget is that language learning is not something that you do for a year and then you're done. That happens to so many people during high school and college, and then they just lose the language because they don't practice it. You need to remember, this is going to be for the rest of your life. You're going to practice a language for maybe an hour or two, maybe not that long. If you're at an advanced level, it might take you a little bit less to keep it up, maybe 30 minutes to just review and everything. And reading, if you don't count that as official practicing, 30 minutes, but then after that you can just read, talk to people, write in a language journal like I've suggested in this video, all that good stuff. But all I like to do is just maybe put in a few hours a week, and then you get this skill for the rest of your life where you can talk to new people, you get to experience a different culture, you get to learn more about yourself. It's such a good and valuable experience that for the value that learning a language gets you, it should take longer. If I were to price this, if learning a language were a product and time were the currency, I would charge it for like 10 years. If that makes sense. And think about it. You have to only spend 2 years to get a skill that you can use for the rest of your life. Take a look at athletes. They have to get really good at a sport for maybe like their entire lives. And then they have to stop playing after like 20 years once they get to 30, 40, because then they're not going to be as good. This is a skill you can use for the rest of your life and talk to new people all the time about. I mean, also, I'm sure it will be a good sign of status if you can speak another language or multiple languages. You want to become a polyglot like I will always suggest. And, maybe you can find love. Maybe you just so happen to tell the right person that you speak 5 languages and they become really attracted to that. I guess that's a little unlikely, but you never know what can happen. But I guess that's what I wanted to say. Time's going to pass by anyway. This is a lifelong pursuit anyway, so the value you get out of doing this is pretty good. And just, you get to talk to new people, learn about a different culture, learn more about yourself and the way your mind works. If you don't want to spend 2 years to do that, 2 years to unlock a new skill for the rest of your life that can benefit you in so many ways, and you don't want to do that, I would not say it takes too long. And I think a lot of that comes from kind of, as time has gone on, you can kind of see our attention spans are lower and our patience is a lot lower as well. It's okay to make innovations to make things a little fast, like when it's unnecessary, but only taking 2 years of your time to learn a language, that's just fine for me. And the journey is fun too. Like it's fun when you start off and all you can say is something like, hello, my name is, in the language, and you can get on to reading dissertations or books and like very like complex, high-level things. That's a great journey to go on. Like you will appreciate how much work you've put into this and how great the journey has been, and you can also get the results to appreciate as well. So those are just my thoughts. So I don't think it'll take too long to learn a language. I think that you should learn one right now. Go find a language. Go try and learn it right now. Like seriously, I want you to go find a language, and you are going to maybe get some time to gather resources. Try learning it within the next week. I'm being dead serious. Try it right now. All right, tell your dog I said hi.